Hello. I should have used OBS instead of Streamlabs because the audio is better. Let me see if I can open up a filter real quick to suppress the background noise. Noise suppression. Is that what it's called? Alright, let's see. Hopefully this is better. Okay. Alright, yo, what's up guys? Yeah, it's early. So I had a thought this morning, a couple hours ago, that I want to build a quick project for the weekend, which shouldn't take us too much. Essentially, we're just going to build a image hosting site, and we're going to spend the first couple minutes planning out the project, and then we're going to actually build it out. So it shouldn't take too long. We're going to be using React and Node.js for the backend. So React is for the front end, Node.js for the back end, and we're gonna use DigitalOcean spaces to host our images, or it could be videos as well, but we're only gonna be doing images. So I'll show you guys how DigitalOcean spaces work. It's pretty cool, and if you guys are interested, I will leave a link in the description to my a referral link so you guys can actually try out DigitalOcean. You basically get, I think it's $100 worth of credit, and when you guys receive that credit, you get it for 60 days, and then if you spend $25, it gives me $25. So I'll leave a link so those who are interested can try it out. But obviously, you know, like I said, you get $100 worth of credit for 60 days, and you can pretty much use a lot of the products that they have. And DigitalOcean is pretty it's pretty affordable, honestly. Spaces only cost $5. If you were to use AWS S3 to store your stuff, it would cost a lot of money. Anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna build an image hosting site. So I did a tutorial like this over a year and a half ago on my channel, but I only used the file system to store all of the images, and we had to use a database for this to keep track of the file reference. We're not going to be using a database, I think. We're only just going to be using DigitalOcean spaces. So this is pretty much a demonstration of how DigitalOcean spaces work. So that's going to be the key takeaway of this application. So we'll pretty much need a front end. So that's going to be for the user to upload the image. So we're going to have the actual feature where when they click on the button, it'll open up the file system explorer, and then they can choose what photos they want to upload. And then we're also going to have a drag and drop feature as well. So we're going to support those two features. Allow drag and drop. And we can show a preview. So one of the biggest challenges that we may run into is figuring out how we can provide a reference to the actual URL, or to the actual image. So I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. What we would need to do is we need to generate a unique code, and then that unique code would represent the image. So I think maybe that might be one of the biggest challenges, but that's going to be something that we'll handle last. Handle photo files. Let's see, the backend will call Spaces API. And if you've used S3 before, it literally works the same way. What's up, Ready? How are you? To save the image sent from the front end. And there's actually going to be a unique value that's given back when we call the API. So the problem is, let's see, one problem is find out how to generate unique code that maps to the image the user uploaded. And then, well, that won't be a hard part. The hard part will be getting the code URL and being able to allow the user to visit that endpoint. That's going to be the hardest part, I think. I'm doing good, thank you. There's a backend Nest.js video that continues off with the Discord dashboard series. There's like about three videos for Nest.js that continue the dashboard series. Okay, I think I'll figure this problem out as we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up the project right now, and I'll upload all the code to GitHub at the very end so that you guys can have it. So we're gonna use create React app to generate our project. We're gonna be using Typescript as well with React. And for the backend, we'll most likely use Express. Might use Fastify. I'll probably look into Fastify real quick. Never used it before. So let's see. Let's call this image uploader type templates TypeScript. I wish I was more creative when it comes to naming projects. Nuxt.js is greater than Next.js. What is Nuxt? Isn't that for Vue? Isn't Nuxt, what is Nuxt again? It's like for... Cool. Wise Dev Helper, how are you? Alright, so we got our project set up, so let's go inside our repository. And let me go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here's my code. I'll zoom in a little bit. And what we're going to do is we are going to install styled components. So that's going to be for styling, which we won't really be doing much styling, to be honest with you. The front end is just going to be very simple. It's literally just going to be a container where you can drag and drop stuff. That's literally it. Fagner Sales, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Let's install the TypeScript, the types for style components. We'll also need the SDK for S3, which we can just get that from AWS SDK. That should be able to give us the option to actually work with the API. I actually do have another repository. Let me go and let me actually open that up real quick. AWS retest. So AWS SDK client S3 is what we're going to need to install. Okay. So let me actually open up that that repository real quick. AWS SDK. Which is this one. Any tips for styling? No, not really. Not much is up, just, you know, early stream. Love your tutorial so much. Could you do Next.js with Nest.js in the future? Maybe. I've never used Next before, so. Alright, so we have our React project. So let me go ahead and install. Gotta install a couple things. So yarn add. We gotta install the node types. And we're going to install AWS Software Development Kit, which is literally just this right over here. Okay, so we're gonna just use yarn for that. There we go. And so pretty much, if you've used S3 before, This literally works the same way. It's just that we're using DigitalOcean's spaces instead of Amazon Web Services. Okay, cool. So we're not going to worry about the backend right now. We're just going to worry about front end, which front end isn't really going to be anything difficult. Like I said, it's just going to be something simple. So I'm just going to delete all of the files that we won't need. And to be honest with you, I probably didn't really need to install styled components because, like I said, we're not really going to be styling much stuff. But actually, I think it's actually good that we do have styled components because it's going to give me the opportunity to actually do some cool stuff with CSS, which I think you guys will like. So let me go ahead and run the project. And let me just go ahead and move this inside of README instead of using a notepad. The stream just started, yes, just started a couple of minutes ago. So you're still pretty early. Macy, how are you? Welcome back to the stream. Nice seeing you here. Okay, so here's the React app. So all we're gonna literally have is just a, let me get some colors real quick. So I have some colors in mind that I want to use. So first, let's get some colors and let's get some font. So let me just get rid of all of this real quick, except for, let's see. Let's do DM Sans. Let's get rid of this as well. And let's just do HTML body height 100% so we can set the height. And we'll also set the root height to 100% as well. Try the Tokyo Night VS Code theme, maybe sometime. Maybe some other time. Okay, so we're gonna have the background color as this, and we'll have the text color to be white. Okay. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a box in the middle. So if you look at a image uploading site, there's usually a box in the middle, and it pretty much allows the user to actually drag and drop stuff where they can click on it, and it will open up the file system, the file explorer, and they can pretty much select what files they want to upload. So I'm going to show you guys how that's going to work. So basically, let's create the box first, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just create a style component. So I like to create a folder called, I'll just create a folder called styles. And I'll just create index.tsx file. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to import styled from styled components. Sup Ace, how are you? Welcome back to the stream. And we're gonna create the container. I guess I don't know what to call it. I guess I can call it a image upload container. I'll think of a better name later, but this is literally just gonna be a div, okay? And for the width, we'll just have it set to maybe a fixed width of maybe 700 pixels. The height we'll set it maybe to 350 pixels. I'll have to actually see what it looks like. We'll give it a background color slightly darker, so I think 30 30 30. I think that's darker than 23. That's a bit lighter. Actually 30 30 30 would be fine. Okay, and let's see. So, and one more thing that I'm gonna do is I want to have this centered in the middle. So in terms of let's see, we're not really gonna have much styling, but I will create a component called let's call this a page, and all this is gonna do is just have a height of 100%, a width of 100%. And I want this page to flex, because what I want to do is I want it to be exactly in the middle. So I'm going to give it some properties where we can pass in, so we can either have it set to flex or not. So we'll create a page props type, not const, sorry. Oxtol, nice, welcome to the stream. Rendermelon, hi, remember me, I was a channel member once. Is the code going to be on GitHub? I'm sorry, man, I don't recognize the name. Did you change your name? And yes, the code will be on GitHub. Hi Visual, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so for the page props, we're just going to ask if they want to provide in a flex prop. So flex will pretty much just be a Boolean value. Well, actually, we'll just, yeah, it'll be Boolean instead. And then we'll also give them the opportunity to set the align flex, or I'm sorry, align items. And this will be a string. Justify content will also be a string as well. And you can also do things like flex grow. So pretty much any property that can control the flex box. We'll also do flex direction as well. Nope, this has been my name for years. It's okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't. It's been so long, and I took like a long break from YouTube. So, maybe if you tell me when exactly you joined, maybe I'll remember. Hi Anson, how old are you? I am in my. I'm actually turning 24 in 2 weeks. Isn't it better just to use the partial around the page props object? What is partial? I've never used that before. So I'd like to hear what partial is. So we're gonna pass in flex. We'll set this to true. It makes all properties to be optional. Okay, let me look into that. React partial. How do I do that? How do I do that? Partial. Pika program Lotusphere, how are you? Do I just do... Are you saying this? Like that? Sorry, man, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Export type page equal partial. Oh, okay. Cool, so let's try that. Partial. So it pretty much makes everything optional, is what you're saying. So I don't have to do this, right? Wait, hold on. I'm probably doing this wrong. Export type page props equals partial flex. Okay. So we take this, put that in here. Cool. Oh, I see. All right. Oh, okay. I see what you mean now. That's cool. I never knew that. Thank you for telling me that. I always like learning new things. So this is a this seems to be a TypeScript thing, right? Partial TypeScript. You learn new things every day. Partial construct. Okay, cool. I will definitely make sure I use that more in the future because that comes in handy. All right, man. See you later, Lithosphere or Pika Program, whatever you want me to call you. Animal Capilla. Hey, Answer. First of all, thanks for the awesome videos. Awesome, love them. Secondly, for more Discord just videos. Yeah, I'm planning on making a Discord dashboard series soon, but I have not used Discord.js version 13, so I don't want to make a dashboard just quite yet. And this dashboard, I'm going to take some time to actually finish it before I upload it. So I don't want to rush anything with this because the last dashboard series was kind of a flop because I kind of just like didn't really worry too much about it. So yeah. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to set this to flex, and I can actually just omit that because by default, if you just leave it like this, it will just set as true. Now what we want to do is we want to actually now take the props by referencing the props like this, okay? And what I want to do actually is I'm just going to set the display to let's see, to flex. Now, I think actually because this might be optional. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's a Boolean. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do this instead because this is a Boolean. So if flex, we're gonna use the CSS function to just set display to flex, just like that. Griff, nice. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Inversions are the biggest change. What I've seen is what you can tell us about intents. So yeah, intents are obviously the biggest change. Other than that, not much has really changed, but there's obviously new things like the buttons and the components interactions. So I want to learn those things first before I before I really do anything with that. All right, so now let's go ahead and just set the justify content to whatever this is, and we're gonna set align item. So basically, whatever I'm passing in for these props, we're basically getting them over here, and we're setting that value to the align items. So, for example, I can pass in center, and center is pretty much going to be the value of this align items prop, and that's what align items is going to compute to for our page. Okay. So I'm only doing this so I can make this page reusable, because there might be some pages where I don't want everything to be flex and I don't want it to be in the center. Okay. So now what I can do is I can go ahead and watch what happens if I go ahead and export this, and let's see what it looks like. We now have our container in the center. Yeah, there really hasn't been much big changes. I would say the only major changes to Discord.js is just, like I said, the intents, the new events, and the new features, obviously. Other than that, though, I don't really think it's all that much crazy, you know? Okay, so give me 1 second. My headphone wire is stuck to my chair. Okay. Let me go ahead and actually make the width a little bit larger, and we'll make this a little bit responsive later. Let me change the height a little bit. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and set the box sizing to border box, because we're gonna give some padding, and I think the padding will probably be maybe 50 pixels. I'll have to see what it looks like. But inside image upload container, we're gonna have a label. And we're gonna set the HTML4 attribute to file, because that's gonna be the ID, okay? And for the text, I'm just gonna go ahead and just write upload image. Okay, there we go. So, might be a little bit too, actually the padding is fine. Let me give it some border radius. We'll do 10 pixels. I will change the size of the label later. So essentially what's going to happen is we need this input field. So we need an input, but it's obviously not going to be this input. It's going to be a type of file, right? So what's going to happen is when I click on this, it should open up the file explorer. Give me 1 second. Okay. So what should happen is when I click on this, it should open up the file explorer. But we only want images to be allowed to be sent. Let me go ahead and actually, 1 second. I actually have some sample images that I can, that we can use. Give me 1 second. You don't have to be verified if you don't have a verifier to be. I honestly don't like, like the new limitations with Discord bots is that they're making it so that it's kind of like shifting towards slash commands, which is really annoying. And with all the stupid intent rules now, it makes it really not so fun. I mean, it is what it is, but it's nothing too crazy. Okay, so when I click on this, you should see my file system, and you can see we can pretty much select whatever files we want. We only want images to be selected. So for example, like these images should be able to be selected. So what we can do is we can actually set the type, or we can set the accept to image, and we can also limit it to what type of images we want. Not sure why. Oh, I'm sorry, image. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. So now it only shows images. Though I'm not sure why it's showing the city skylines in the programs, but we can always change that. I can just simply do like JPEG or image, JPEG, image, PNG. I can even do GIFs as well. Again, I'm not sure why. I might have to Google that. Input type file accept. Let me see how we can image / PNG. Okay, so we definitely have the correct yeah, we definitely have the correct one. I'm not sure why it's still showing the city skyline stuff though. That is very weird. I think that's just how it is. Well, we're working on it fine, so that's okay. All right. So now we can also allow other image types too, but we'll just leave it for these three for now. Now, obviously, we want to style this. We don't want this ugly button over here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a couple things. One, we're going to reference this input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to go inside index.css, and I'm going to go ahead and reference input. And we got to style the type. So input style type. If I remember correctly, let's see. I think it's input type equals file. I think this is how you do it. No, I may have done it wrong. Style input type. Let's see. Type equals file. Okay, so we're definitely doing that correctly. Oh wait, no strings. Whoops. Wait, no, X. Okay, so yeah, this is quite annoying. So my prettier is just gonna automatically. Is there a way? How do I? Prettier ignore file. Is there a? I think there's a comment that I can use to ignore it. Yeah, right here. Because I have prettier, so hopefully this should. Hold on. Yeah, no, that's kind of annoying. All right, it's fine. We'll just use style components then. Export const file input. And what we'll do is we will just simply style this. Okay. Now I'm actually just going to use the type prop. And we're going to check to see if the type is a file, and if it is, then we're going to style it accordingly. And what I'm going to do is style input file. We're going to basically set display to none, because we don't want it visible. Okay? Now you're probably going to wonder, well, how the hell are we going to trigger the effect? Right? So I wish there was a way to actually set the type. Actually, like I wish there was a way we can actually immediately just set the type, but it's okay. Anyways, so you're probably wondering, how the hell are we going to upload the image? Like, how are we going to upload the image if we have it set to display none? So one thing that we can do is we can pretty much hold on, what was that again? If I remember correctly, it's something to do with the label. I think, if I remember correctly, what we can do is we can pretty much click. I think, yeah, if we click on the label, I think that should also trigger. That should trigger the. That will trigger the actual file input, I think. Yep, there we go. So pretty much as long as you have the label set to the correct ID of the file input. So you see we have the HTML4. So this is for the correct input field with the correct ID. So file and file. So if you click on the label, it'll pretty much trigger the the file browser for you, the file explorer. So that'll do the same thing for us. Okay. So we're pretty much done with that part. Now I'm gonna just do a couple more styling real quick. So export const. Let me go ahead and just do a simple styled dot label. I want to give let's see. I want to give it a font size of maybe 18 pixels. Or actually, yeah, 18 pixels is fine. Or 24 might be better. Actually, let's try 22. Okay, and then I'll add like a little description to like a little text. So let's just do some text. And this will just be a wrapper on a p tag with no margin. And we'll set the color to maybe a lighter color. So maybe a gray color. So we'll just say click to upload a file. You can also drag an image here. File or drag the image from your computer. What is the theme for VS Code? I have no idea. Okay, I think maybe what we could do is we should probably make, I think maybe we could make the, make this container a little bit smaller. Yeah, I don't want to make it like, you know, a fixed height. Yeah, we'll just leave it like this for now. Okay. And what we can do is now let's also add a cursor. Now what I want to do is I don't want it so that when I click on the label, I want it so that when I click on the whole entire upload container. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. So let me get rid of this label. I want it so that the entire thing, when the entire thing is clicked, it will trigger the file browser. So what we can do is we can just do something like maybe label, though I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Let me see. Can you put HTML in label? Let me see. So it's saying that, so yes, label is an inline element, but I wonder if we set it to a block, if that would kind of be like a cheap way. But I basically want it so that when I click on the whole thing, it'll trigger the file explorer. So I mean, there's probably some API where you can use to programmatically trigger the file, the file upload, programmatically. But let's see. All right, see ya, Macy. Yeah, so essentially what's happening is I want this whole thing when it's clicked on. Let me see. Let's see. I mean, I think what I could do is I could probably do something like this where, let's see, label, div inside label. So HTML doesn't allow it to contain a div. So let's not do that because that would be, you know, bad practice. So I'm trying to think what would be the best solution here. Because right now if I click on this, it will not work. It will only work if we click on this label. So, and we don't want that. We want the entire thing to be clicked on. So I think honestly, Let's see, programmatic. Let's see, JavaScript. Programmatically open file dialog. Oh, I see. So what we can actually do is we can actually put a ref on this, I think. And we can pretty much make it so that it'll click the input. Though that's probably gonna, be too much, but we can always try it. So let's just say file input ref. We'll just do use ref. And we'll do HTML input element. And we'll set this to null. And we'll give the ref to this input. So essentially what I want to do is when I click on this image upload container, so on click, we're going to go ahead and let's see what the file input ref value is. We'll click on it. So this should give us the ref, and what we can actually do is we can do file input ref dot current dot click, and what that will do is that should toggle. Yep, there we go. So we can do that too, using refs, which is pretty useful. So refs are actually pretty cool. So let me go ahead and actually, I think we can just leave that alone. So we probably don't even need a label anymore, to be honest with you, since we're programmatically doing this. But yeah, because if I click on the label, this will actually open up the file dialog twice. So let's see, and I don't not want to use a label. So let's see, prevent label from. Let's see, is there a way we can like prevent the label? Prevent HTML label from opening. Is there a way we can like maybe make the label kind of like prevent default maybe? I wonder. Let's try that. Not sure if that's possible, but we can always try. Oh, so that actually seems like it works. Okay. My guesses are, I have good instincts. So basically the problem is that if we want to programmatically open up the input, all we have to do is just simulate the click event. But if we get rid of that prevent default, and if I click on input label, it'll pretty much open up twice. Another alternative that we could do is we could pass a ref to label and we can check where it's clicked, but like I said, that's just overcomplicating things, and I think this is honestly fine. Because we still got other things to worry about too. Like we still have the drag and drop to worry about. So let's do an on drag capture. So what we want to do is we want to capture the event for whenever the user drags the let me turn down my shades because the sun is too bright. So essentially what we want to do is we want to listen to the on drag capture event, because what we want to do is when we drag the file over the container, we want to show a border, like how a lot of applications do. So let me go ahead and create some functions that will handle this input for us. So const capture, and I think the event is a React change event. I'm not sure what the actual, I forgot what the actual type is. It's a drag event. And we'll do it HTML div element. Yeah, like kind of like a highlight. Yeah, you can think of it like that. Okay, so watch this. So watch what happens when I console log E, and let's open up here. So right now nothing's gonna happen. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get a file. So I'm gonna get an image, and watch what happens. Whoops, not there. What's going on here? Oh wait, I highlighted too many files. Okay, so is that even working or? Whoops, no. Hold on, what's going on? Let's see. Well, let me do something real quick. because I have too many windows open on my computer. Let me just close Discord. Okay, so let's see. Handle drag capture. So on drag capture. Let me see. Did I use the wrong? Oh, it's on drag over. Sorry, on drag over. Handle drag over. Okay, there we go. So let's try this again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just get a file and drag it over, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen. So why is it doing that? Hold on. Why am I in the network tab? Let's see. On drag over, so we have the events. Is it because we don't have the prevent default? Let's see. Image upload container. Gotta figure that out. So what should happen is when I drag a file over here, it should log in the console. But I'm not sure why it is not doing that right now. So we'll have to figure that out real quick. Let me see something. Let me check something, because I've done this before. Let me double check what I did last time real quick. So I have to kind of cheat a little bit. Let's see. So the event is definitely on drag over. So let's see. Let's try it again. Try refresh. Maybe let's try that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's so weird. I thought it should auto update, but it seems like it didn't auto update, which is very weird. Okay, there we go. So not sure why refreshing changed that, but thanks for pointing that out. There we go. So you see the event. Okay, great. So we need to actually what we need to do is we need to actually do a couple things. So first, let's make sure we prevent default and stop propagation. Okay. So then we can actually do stuff with the file. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want to basically we're gonna create a variable, state variable. It's a server disconnected. Well, I thought it reconnected though, because I know I did actually cancel. Like I had to close, like I had to exit the shell. But I don't know, that's weird. Anyways, so let's go ahead and let's get a state variable. So what I want to do is show, let's just create a variable called visible. And it's going to be a Boolean value, and Typescript will infer the type for us. So we don't need to annotate the type like that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to set visible to true. Okay. Now we're going to also listen to one more event. So when we let's see, I think the event should be called, I think it's on drag leave. Let me try that. So let's see. Okay, there we go, good. So yes, so basically when we enter, we're going to set visible to true, and when we leave, we're going to set visible to false. So let's do const handle drag leave. And the reason why we're doing this is because basically this variable, this visible variable, is going to control whether or not the border should be showed or not, like the border on the image upload container. You'll see in just a second. Okay, so on drag leave, we'll have this handler. And image upload container is going to take in a prop now. And what we'll do is we'll create a type for it. Let's see, border. I'm not gonna call it, actually I'll call it show border. Let's see. Yeah, I don't want to call it visible because visible really means something else. Okay, so now image upload container is gonna take in this show border prop, and we gotta also prop type annotate that. Okay, there we go. So show border is gonna receive the value of show border. So if it's true, then it'll be true. If it's false, it'll be false. Bro, I had that once spend an hour trying to figure out what was wrong. I just had to refresh. Burn fire. Okay. So for image upload container, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and reference that show border prop. And we're gonna go ahead and say if show border, if that's true, and CSS. So if this is true, we're gonna give it a border. So we'll do 2 pixels solid, and we'll probably do maybe a, I want to do a blue color. We'll play around with the colors. Okay, so watch this. So watch this now. You see the border? There we go. So when I hover over it, when I leave, you can see the border disappears and appears. Awesome. Okay, great. So now, what we're gonna do is we need to handle the situation where we drag and then we drop the element into the container. Okay, so right now we're just dragging and like leaving. We need to now handle on drop. So handle drop. And a nice thing that you could do with Typescript is if you're not sure of what to annotate the parameters, you can just always just like manually set the function here, or pass in the callback function with the parameter, and you can see what the parameter type is. That's what I usually like to do. So you can see that it's a drag event. So that's what I'm going to annotate this. Okay, and then we can just pass in this. It's a good way to avoid using any. Okay, so let's do the same thing, stop propagation and prevent default. So this will prevent the form from actually submitting, and it'll also prevent the image from opening in a new tab. So watch what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this now. So I'm going to take the image, drop it, and you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see that a bunch of events have just happened, a bunch of drag over events, but the most important one is the on drop event. So I'm going to take that image, drop it in, bam. Now we have a problem where when we drop it, the border is still showing. So maybe what we could do is we could remove the border. So we can just simply do a set visible or set show border to false. Now if I get rid of the propagation stuff, and if I do this, you'll see that it opens up in a new tab, and we don't want that because that's kind of annoying. So that's why we need the stop propagation and prevent default. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to actually, let's do this. Let's actually show the preview to the user I think that's a good idea to show a preview to the user. So what we can do is we can actually get the current file. So let's create a couple state variables first. So let's do source, set source, and this will be a string. And we'll also need a reference to the file because we'll actually need to send the file to the server. So we'll annotate the file to be a file type or null. Okay. And what we're gonna do is let's actually console log data transfer.files. Let's console log this property. So watch what happens. You're gonna see that this file list we have it's not necessarily an array, but it's similar to an array. Okay, because you can always actually drag in multiple files too. So you see how we were able to drag in 2 files, right? You can see that I dragged in 3 files now, and you can see that it gives us an array of 3 files. Okay, now we do want to limit it to maybe 1 file. So maybe we can display an error and say we can check the length, right? Like platforms like Imgur allow you to send multiple files, but for now let's just do 1 file for now. Okay, we'll handle that error case later. But right now, I just want to show the functionality. So you can see that we have this file list, and what we want to do is we want to basically, we actually want to get the URL of the file. So we can do that by doing create object URL, and we can get the URL by passing in, if I remember correctly, let me see. Let's see, show preview image HTML. Okay, so we actually need the file object itself. So what we're gonna do is we're going to do this. Let's do const files from e.data transfer. So if files and files, so let's do if files const file equals files dot item. So we're gonna get the item at position 0. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's actually do if file. So if file, let's go ahead and create the URL. So that's going to allow us to actually preview it. So we can actually just simply do set source, and then we'll do URL create object URL, pass in file, and then we'll set the file to file. Okay. So let's watch what happens real quick. So what I'm going to do is we have this image upload container, right? And this is in the center. I'm going to create one more container. So let me create one more div. Let me just do a simple hi, just so I can see where it's currently positioned. So let's see. I actually want this to be underneath it. So I think what I can do is I'll set the flex direction to column. Let's see, why is that not working? Let's see, we have flex direction set to column. Oh, is it because I have justified content? No. Maybe space between. That's very interesting. So we have page, but it's set to flex, right? It's set to flex, but I forgot to do flex direction. Silly me. There we go. Silly me. Okay, what I want to do is I just want to create another div. And I'm actually not even going to call this image upload container anymore. I'm just going to call this a container from now on, because I want to reuse this. So we're going to have this container now. So now we have 2 containers, and I'll just give it a manual margin of 10 pixels on the top. So there's a separation. And down here in this container, I actually want to show the preview. I want to show the image preview. But actually, you know what I'm going to do? Actually, no, let's scratch that. I'm not going to call this a container. Let's let's go back to image upload container, because we're actually going to do something different. We're going to create a preview, or let's do image preview container. And I think we can leave it as an image. Yeah. So image preview container is going to show the preview of the image. So we're going to have the source, and the source is going to be the value of our state variable source. So I'm just going to do set source instead. Actually, sorry, my ADHD isn't making me contemplate what I want to name my variables. Okay, so what we're going to do is, now let's try this out. So let's go ahead and upload the image. So let's click here. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I may have gotten rid of okay, yeah, let's handle that real quick. Oh yeah, I forgot we deleted that and I always forget what the parameters are. It's a mouse event. HTML development. And if we have time, I'll do some unit testing too. Wait, what? It's a React.mouse event HTML development. Seems like there's two parameters. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. So it seems like there's the, okay, cool. Makunthan, welcome to the stream. How are you, man? Okay, so when we click on this, we need to get the ref. Okay, there we go. So click on here. What's going on? I had this working earlier. We were able to click on the container. Did I do something wrong? Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh wait, I'm dumb. I had the prevent default, which negates what I'm trying to do. Okay, there we go. So, yep, perfect. So when we click on it, good. So now, we also need to listen to another event, because right now we support drag and drop, but it's not supporting the actual image when we click on it. So we need to, in order to actually get that value, we need to listen to the on change. So we're going to create a function. We have a lot of functions. Change event, HTML input element. Okay, so watch what happens when I go ahead and change the file. So you're going to see in the console. So let's go ahead and upload a file. You're going to see that we triggered an on change event. And if we go to, which one is it? So this time we're going to actually need to get it from target.files. So there's this property called files, and it's literally the same thing. Before we had to get data transfer, now we have to get the file change. We listen to a lot of events. Yeah, I mean, event handling is very important in the JavaScript world, because literally a bunch of stuff is based off of events. A lot of things that happen is based off of events. So you definitely want to be familiar with how to handle these events. You can build very powerful applications with them. So if we console log, so we're basically going to handle the same logic in a sense. We're basically going to do this. Instead of e.datatransfer, it's going to be e.target.files, or not just e.target, because we're destructuring it. And files might actually be null. So we'll actually just do if files. We'll do const file equal. Let's do if const files, and also do files dot files dot length. So if this is if the length is 0, that means this if condition will be false. So this will ensure that there's actually a length of 1. Okay, so if we do file files dot item subscript 0, that should do the trick for us. All right, so let's actually go ahead and let's do one more thing with our image preview container. Let's go ahead and set the width of this to 800. Okay, so let's see what happens. You're gonna see we have the preview now. And if I were to drag and drop, the same thing happens. Okay, now it's best that we might need to set a fixed height to this, but I think a better thing to do is we can probably just use I think maybe it's better if we use a background image instead. I haven't done that yet. We can always try that, though. I'm not too sure if that's really a good idea, because right now the image itself, it can be any height. So if you upload an image that's like a larger size, the height will be off. Sometimes we might just want like a fixed height, fixed width to prevent the actual user from, to prevent the DOM from looking any different. So it might be something that might be worth doing, but pretty much this is what. So let me actually see if let me actually try something else real quick. Let's do export const image preview, and let's use a div instead. I want to see if I can actually use a URL instead. I want to see if I can actually set the background image of this instead. So let's see. Let's try image preview, and we'll set the URL. Wait, let's do that. So URL will be source. What's going on? Oh, I never typed. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we need to get the background. So I wonder if we can actually do this. That's my concern, is if we can actually use this to our advantage. Let's find out. Let's see. I don't know if this will work, but I hope it does, because that'd be a lot better, I think, in my opinion. Let's see. All right, let's see if this works. I don't know if it will. Oh, it does work. Okay. So you can see we have the width and we have the height. Perfect. Now, it doesn't show the whole image, though, so it might not be a good way to preview. But we can always actually allow the user to click on the image, and when they click on it, we can actually open up the entire image in an overlay. So let's actually do that. And so yeah, I think this is actually a lot better, because let's set the background size. Whoops, background size to contain, maybe. Let's see. Let's do no repeat, background, repeat, no repeat. Now we might not actually want to show the entire thing, because, like, we might want to downsize it a little bit, because it might take a long time for it to show. I'm not sure how we can do that, so that's something we'll have to look up later. But let me see. What if we did cover? Yeah, so you can kind of start to see that if we do a background image, it doesn't get to show the whole thing. Like, the user won't be able to actually preview, and we do need to set a fixed height for it to work. But that also prevents the user from being able to, change the DOM. What if we did background position set to center. And we can make it so that when they click on it, it'll open up the entire image. It can open up the entire image in an overlay. I think that might be a better option. We can always do that. So let's not get super fancy with it. We'll worry about that as as we go by. But right now, let's just set the border radius to 10 pixels. Let's go ahead and set a manual margin. I don't want to set the margin on the image preview. Let's just set the margin from top here. And why don't we actually also animate this a little bit? Let's see if we can do an opacity. Let me actually see HTML. I wonder if there's a way we can optimize the image. Optimize image. Because we obviously, let me see. We'll worry about it later. All right, so what I want to do is let's give it some animation. So let's use a keyframe. So keyframes, let's call this fade in. So from 0% opacity of 0, and then to 100%, we'll do opacity of 1. And we'll just simply pass in the animation property. Let's do 500 milliseconds. Fade in. There we go. Let's see what that looks like. Does that even work? Now another problem is, let's see. Oh, also one more thing is we only want to show the image preview if there's actually an image. So what we'll do is we'll just simply do this source and this. It only applies on load. Oh, there we go. That's a lot better. There we go. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and let's actually make it clickable. Well, not clickable. Let's add a cursor to it. But what we'll also do is we'll also go ahead and make it so that when you click on this image, it will open up an overlay and it will show the entire image. So I think everything is being done in the app.tsx file, which I'm not really a fan of. We'll actually do this. I'm actually going to move this into its own component because we have just way too much stuff right now. So that way we have our own state too. Because this is just kind of like, getting a little bit too, it's getting too much. And we don't want to put everything inside the app.tsx file, which is it's not good. So I'll just move this inside its own component for now. And let's just go ahead and import everything that we need to import. There we go. All right, so now all we got to do is just pretty much import image upload. Okay, now another problem is that we also need to move this inside here as well. So now, let's see. Oh, I see the problem now. Is we actually have two components. So let's see. Let me see. I could actually do this. Let me paste this here. And I could actually use a fragment and do this. There we go. Why would you come on here and why would you come here and advertise your Instagram? That doesn't make any sense. That's funny. All right. Okay. So we have image preview. Good. Okay. So this pretty much eases up a lot of stuff over here. Okay. So let's do this now. So let's create another component. Let's call this image preview.tsx. And this is just going to be a child component. So export const image preview. And what we're going to do is we're basically just going to render image preview. That's literally all we're going to do. So I'm actually going to go ahead and image preview. let's call this image preview style. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pass on the props. So image preview is going to need a couple props. It's going to need export type image preview props. It's going to need the source, which is going to be a string. Now the source can actually be, let's see, we'll do that. So source, and we'll just type annotate this to be image preview props. And now all we can do is actually, yeah, let's do that. So let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to go ahead and remove this. We're going to import image preview. Pass in that source. And now we're going to return image preview style. Pass in source, just like that. Just like that. And we'll have to add the style here. That's all we're doing. Hello, sir. Nice tutorials. Thank you, Esk Official, and nice to see you on the live stream. Okay, cool. So now we have the image preview in its own component. So what we want to do is essentially, I mean, there's many ways that we can preview it. We can show, like, we can actually do an overlay instead to show the preview, and then have them click on a button to confirm. But I want to do something real quick, and what I want to do is I want to actually make it so that there's a button, and when they click on that button, they can now submit the actual they can actually submit the image. So I think what we'll do is, let's see, I'm trying to think what would be the best approach on how we want to do this. Andu Baron, how's it going? Nice to see you here. I can just add a button down here, I guess. Like, you know, a button. Upload. Like right over here. And that button will only show when there's a file. So file button, for example. We can do something like that. It's Daniel. How's it going? Nice to see you here. Okay, I'm not gonna think too much because I don't want to, like, you know, spend too much time on this. The preview? What do you mean? Like, when? What do you mean? Why don't you make it what? Wait, why is this going all the way to the full width? It should be... Oh, it's because image... Oh, it's because it's not inside image upload container. That's right. All right, let me go ahead and do this real quick. Let's create... Oh, actually, you know what? Let me just do this. Screw it. Actually, no. Wait, what am I doing? Hold on. Eggy, how are you? Yeah, when you click the image, it'll open up a modal. Yeah, we can do that later. Oh, wow, but this doesn't even give me the animation anymore. Oh, now it does. That's strange. Interesting. Okay. All right, so now we have the upload button. Let's go ahead and set the font real quick. Font family. Let's set the font size. We can also change this to an icon too, actually. Let me go ahead and download React icons real quick. Do I need types for React icons? Okay, there we go. And yeah, we'll pretty much just use an upload. We'll look for the upload icon. So it should be somewhere over here. It's just pretty much like an arrow. An arrow. Yeah, there we go. IO cloud upload outline. That's perfect. So they have it. That's great. So let's go ahead and do that. So import from React icons IO5. So IO cloud upload outline. Perfect. Okay, so now all you got to do is instead of having upload, I mean you can have both if you want. We can just have the we can just have the icon. Let's see. There you go. You can see the icon over there. And let's give it a size of 50. It's too big. Let's do 20. Too small. I don't like how it changes the size of the button too. Now, what if I were to do a div and then do a upload text after? What would that look like? Yeah, you would see that it doesn't look nice. We'd have to actually give these a display of flex and then align the items to be in the center. What site was what? Oh, that was React Icons website. It's just React Icons. There we go. So we have upload. We can also obviously give the text. Do I have a text? I do have text. Okay. I'm not trying to focus so much on styling right now, so I'll just leave that alone. I'll just use a paragraph tag. Okay. Now let me see if I can actually. Let's see. Actually, I don't really like the text, honestly. I honestly think the cloud itself is just fine, and I don't really think we really need anything else other than that. If I'm being honest with you. Though I do like the fact that yeah, let's do that. Let's get the pixels back. Okay, there we go. That seems good. And we can change the color. Oh, let's change the button color real quick. So I think I want a blue color. So background color. Let's change it to an actual color an actual blue color that I like. I think this is fine. We got to get rid of the border. Let's do border radius. Set that to 5 pixels maybe. Okay, good. And we'll change the color to white. Nice. And let's do a simple hover. So when we hover over it, we have a background color. And we'll just change the color slightly. And when we click on it, so that'll be active, we'll change the background color to a lighter color as well. And we'll also add a transition. So some animation. So transition, we'll do 250 milliseconds, background color, ease in, out. Looks good. All right, now let's see. So when we click on this button, what's going to happen is it's going to send this to the API. So I think in terms of, let's see. I think in terms of front end, we're practically done. Let me see. I think what I'm going to do is I actually might get rid of this and make it so that maybe what I'll do is I'll actually show the preview here. And when they click on it, it'll show a modal. Let me actually try that real quick. I want to experiment real quick. We still have some time. So I definitely want to experiment a little bit. So we have the image upload container. We have some text. So what we'll need to do is we'll actually need to make this image upload container a flexbox. And let's just see how that looks like. So we're going to need to put this div here. And we're going to need to put the image over here. Right over here. So right now it's going to look really bad, but let's go ahead and set the image upload container. Let's set the flex. Let's set its display to flex. Daniel, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Okay, so it doesn't look nice right now. We're going to have to obviously decrease the size. So I think actually, I think here might be a better case where we use the image preview container instead. And we just pass in source. And what we do is we just set the width. I think I can actually set the width of this here. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. I'll actually set it to a smaller width. Well, not 1500. Yeah, let's do this instead. And what we'll do is let's set the justified content to space between. There we go. I think this is actually a lot better, actually, in my opinion. Though I still do not like how it changes the height. So I think actually it'll be better if we use preview. I think it's better if we just use what was it called again? Image preview. Yeah, I think it's better if we use this and then set the URL instead. And then we just change the height and width to this. I think that would actually be a lot better in my opinion. Yeah, I think this is actually a lot better in my honest opinion. Yeah, I think this is better. Okay, cool. So let's set the width to maybe a little something bigger. We can always make it responsive too. I'll set the width to maybe 175 pixels. The height we will set to maybe 125. Yeah, this is actually a lot better. And let's see what happens if I set align items to center. There we go. Let's go ahead and give some margin to our button. Do I even need this display flex? Because this is kind of I don't know if I really want the display flex, if I'm being honest with you. Though it does have that annoying spacing over here, which is really annoying. So it's most likely because of the padding, I think. Padding, I think it's the margin actually. It's the margin or padding, but I know it always gives that annoying. We're making progress, so that's good. Yeah, I'm not sure why this itself over here, it's giving us that annoying, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too sure. All right, whatever. Let's go ahead and just give this button a margin of 10 pixels, 0. Ejecting, you mean like using React scripts to eject? No. Probably not. Okay. Okay, cool. So this looks not too bad. Now what does it look like here? Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's do something real quick. So when I click on this image, so when I click on image preview, let's see. What we want to do is we want to show a modal. Okay, so let's do that. I mean, like use Webpack. No, this is just going to be a simple project that we're just gonna do for the next couple hours. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. So what I want to do is when I click on this button, whoops. Actually, now we have a problem because when I click on the image itself, you can see that it still opens up the upload image. So that's a problem here. So I think we actually do need to tweak our on click thing a little bit. Let me see. So now this actually becomes a little bit more complicated. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm not actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the label again. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this instead. I don't want to overcomplicate this. Okay, React TypeScript is being annoying as always. Okay, so we're gonna make it so when you click on the label, we'll just do that instead. And I'll get rid of the cursor on here. And we'll just add a cursor for the label. Though I think it'd be better if we had like I think it'd honestly be better if we clicked on it instead, but I don't know. I don't want to overcomplicate it because, like I said, we still have a bunch of other things to worry about, like the actual API. So we can obviously tweak things later. Are you making an English? Yeah, it's pretty much an Imgur like app, but we're gonna be using DigitalOcean to host everything. We're gonna be using the DigitalOcean's Spaces API to do everything. So, all right. So when we click, what's gonna happen is we're gonna need to have a modal, or an overlay. So. Visible, set visible. So we're gonna need to have a state variable to control whether or not the modal should be displayed or not. And all we're gonna do is I'm gonna use a fragment because this modal is really just going to be a positioned element. The code will be public, yes it will, but I'm not deploying. I'm not gonna deploy it. The code will be available, so. Let's see, so const overlay, set this to a div. So let me go ahead and just put this over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do a height of 100%, width of 100%, background color, black. So let's see, why is this not showing? Oh, position absolute, top 0, left 0. Huh, oh, it's because we need to upload an image first. Oh, wow. Let's see, why is that not showing? That's very interesting. So you have image preview over here, but we have overlay. So overlay is not being shown. Why exactly is that? Position absolute, height and width are both 100. Is because we're using a fragment. That could be. Affirmative codes, thank you, I appreciate it. So why is the overlay not showing? That's quite interesting, actually. Do I have image preview? I do have image preview. Oh, wait, I'm still showing image preview style. Oh, wait, whoa, hold on. Yeah, whoops, that's okay, there we go. I had the wrong component. There we go, that should work now. Perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it to a black color, but we're going to dim the opacity a little bit. So, there we go, that's fine. Maybe a little bit darker. And basically, we'll pretty much show the image right over here. I mean, the image could also be, yeah, the image will be showed over here, and that'll be fine. Okay, so inside the overlay, we can pretty much either I think in the overlay, what I want is I want a large, really large box that shows the image. But I think let's try this. Let's try image source, and let's see what it looks like here. Yeah, so you can see over here that we have the image. Let's actually set display to flex, justify content to center, because I want it to be in the center. Align items to the center. There we go. Now, if I actually get rid of the background color, there we go. Perfect. Mohi, nice to see you again. Okay, so we do need some kind of what's it called again? We need a button, or not a button, but like an icon that we can click. And we'll probably put the icon on the top right of the overlay. So it's a good thing we installed React icons. So what we'll do is we will go ahead and import a close. Let's do an IO close circle outline. Actually, I just want an IO close instead. No, not a circle. All right, let's see what this looks like if I have this right over here. I don't think, yeah, it's somewhere over here. I can't really see it. Hold on. Oh, it's right over there. Okay, nice. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll just set the, actually, I think what I'll do is let me go ahead and, I'm kind of like cheating a little bit. I'm going to use some inline styles. Just for now. I'll refactor everything later. But I just want to do inline styles just to kind of speed this up a little bit. There we go. So that way, that won't actually move that to the right of the image itself. Does Linode have a similar thing? Yes, I think I actually remember seeing it. Linode does have a similar thing. So let's position this to absolute, top 0, right 0, and we will simply just close icon like that. Awesome. And then we can add a an on click. And all this is going to do is just set visible to false. And we only show the overlay when visible is true. Okay? And we only show the, yeah, so on the image now, actually I don't even need this. What am I doing? There we go. There we go. Perfect. So we can upload the image. Bam. Perfect. So now when I click on here, now let's see if we can add some animation. So how do I want to do this? Maybe a keyframe. So we can actually reuse this keyframe that we defined. Let me actually see how we can create a reusable keyframe. Because I know instead of copying and pasting this over and over again, I want to actually put this in a variable and reuse this, though I'm not quite sure how. Let me see. Oh, actually, the answer is right over here. So you create a variable and assign it to use the keyframes function. Okay, that works for me. So let's actually just create a keyframes.tsx. We will import keyframes from here. And let's do a fade in is equal to keyframes, because we're going to be using this regardless, so there's no point of us constantly, you know, creating the same thing over and over again. So yeah, that's fine. And we don't even need to worry about giving it a name either. So I think this should be just fine. So let me go ahead and try this real quick. So instead of having just this keyframe defined over here, I can actually just import that variable, whatever it's called, whatever that variable is called, and it should just work fine. So let's just do, so it's animation see if that works. It's looking pretty good so far. A lot of things that I want to work on. Okay, let's try this real quick. Okay, so the animation does work, but though the animation is quite useless for this now because we removed that image. Now what I want to do is I want to make it so that there's an animation on here. So let's try adding that animation to the overlay and let's see what it looks like. We kind of saw it a little bit. There we go. It looks a lot better in my opinion. Let's maybe speed it up a little bit to 300 milliseconds. Cool, okay. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe we can speed it up to maybe 200 milliseconds. Okay, awesome. Now, right now, if I actually hit escape, it's not going to close anything. It can only close when I click on this X button. Now, let me actually do something real quick. Let me give this a cursor, and let's see if we can actually do a hover. So when we hover over it, the color will change. Though I don't think that will actually quite work because it's trying to change this color. But it only will work. Okay, so it'll work if I get rid of that manual color itself. Okay, good. Cool. Maybe I'll do a bigger size actually. Let's try what's 70 look like. All right, and we want to do something where when I hit escape, it'll also close the overlay too. So if I remember correctly, the way we can do that is, well, actually, since it's just an overlay, all we need to do is we just listen to the key down. So I think what we could do is use the useEffect hook. And we can simply do a function handle key down. And we're going to add an event listener to key, I think it's key down. And then we want to do a cleanup, so we'll remove the event listener when the component unmounts. Good, and click on the dark area. Yeah, we could do that too. That one, I think we'll actually need to use a ref so we can detect if we click on this thing. I think that's what you said earlier, use a flag. You have to detect whether or not the cursor's on the, if we're clicking on the image now. I think with that, we can use ref. That, I'm not sure how to do that right now, but we'll worry about that when we get to that. So let's just do the escape real quick. So, let me see. I don't know what so like I said, I don't know what the parameter types are. So usually what I like to do is I like to hover over it. So it's going to be a React keyboard event. So now I can just simply get key. I can just get the key like that. So console log e.key. Though I'm not sure why now this is actually giving me. Let's see. Why is it giving me this issue? Hold on, wait. Oh, it's because it's a React keyboard event. Okay, that's fine. We'll just annotate it as a regular keyboard event then. Okay, so let's try this out and see what happens. All right, so let's open up our console. Whoa, wait, what the hell is this? Why is it so freakishly large? Okay, yeah, we gotta fix that real quick. Let's set the max width to 1000. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's open up the console. Now, if I hit escape, you can see that it's there. Okay, so all we gotta do is if e.key is equal to escape. I think before you can also use key code as well. I think you can still use the code, but we'll use escape. So if we do that, we just call set visible, set that to false. So watch. So now watch this. I'm going to hit escape. Bam, done. Escape, done. Now, let's see. So to handle the dark area, I think the best way to do that is using a ref. Let me just try that real quick. Let me try to see if I can do this real quick. Okay, so this is definitely going to be a div. So we want an overlay on, we want the ref to be placed to the overlay. So when we render, let's see what the overlay ref looks like. Let's see. Okay, so initially it is null, but now it's, now we have it. Okay, so let's see. I guess what we could do is we can listen to an on-click event. Kind of just like speed running this. All right, so let's see e.target. Let's see what happens. So you can see that it's being logged in the console when I click, but what if I click on the image? When I click on the image, it shows the image itself, so it is logging the targets being clicked on. So I think what we need to do is we need to check to see if the target is equal to the ref.current, so e.target. Because they're both nodes. So let's see, false, true. So you'll see that now, if I click outside of the image, it's true. If I click inside the image, it's false. So what we got to do is we got to check to see if the target that we're clicking on is equal to the overlay, and if it is, then we're going to pretty much we're going to get rid of the overlay. But if it's false, that means that we're clicking inside the image, which means that we shouldn't do anything. So if that's true, we'll set visible to false. So now watch, if I click on here, nothing happens. If I click on the dark area, it gets rid of the image. So we now have added functionality to escape key. We can click on it to get rid of it, and we can click on the dark and it'll get rid of it. So I think that handles all three possible cases. No, that's pretty much it. So let's just pretty much do that, and I think that should cover all cases for oh whoops, what am I doing? Okay, cool. So I think from a front perspective, I think this is honestly good enough. A screen may appear when you press the upload button. If the user wants, he can put a custom link on his picture. If he doesn't, so yeah, that's actually something that we were talking about earlier, very early, where that's one thing that we got to figure out, how we want to get like links to be generated. I think custom links is probably something that we shouldn't do, because the user can probably, I mean, it is possible, but we'll also have to use the API to check to see if that code is reserved. So that's definitely something that we can try to do. Let me actually BRB for 2 minutes. Let me get some water and use the bathroom real quick. Give me a second. All right, I'm back. Just had to use the bathroom and get some water. All right, a lot of talking is making my throat dry. So, where's my Discord real quick? My Discord not opening up. That's strange. Discord's being weird. Okay, so okay. All right. So let's see, where are we right now with our app? So one thing that we will fix later is right now. Actually, you know what? So let's go back to what Rafa Rodriguez was saying. So pretty much what we were doing with this overlay, because I thought this was a little bit complicated, but it actually isn't quite complicated. So earlier we removed that functionality from image upload container. So when you click on it, right? When you click on it, it'll open up the entire thing. And let me just fix this real quick. So we can actually do the same thing that we're doing with the overlay. So instead of, so pretty much the problem is that when I click on this, oh, whoops, we gotta go back to the label and we need to do that. Okay, let's fix that. So there we go. Refresh. But if I click on the label though, now it shouldn't do a double. Okay, so what we need to do is when I click on the preview, it'll open it up again, which is not what we want. We don't want that, right? That's a problem. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing that we're doing with the overlay. We're going to add a ref onto the, let's see. We're gonna add a ref to the image upload container and check to see if they're equal. So let's do that. So I love refs. They're so cool. Image upload ref, use ref. Okay, so let's just leave it like this. And what we'll do is we'll give the ref to image upload container. And what we're gonna do essentially is, let's see, when we click on image upload container, so right over here. Yep, right over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check to see if e.target is equal to image upload ref.current. So this is essentially checking to see if we're clicking on the actual container and not the image. So now watch, when I click on here, it'll upload the image. Now if I click on this, it'll show the preview. It will not upload again. So that pretty much fixes the issue that Rafa brought up. And yeah, pretty much with the flag and stuff. We can use refs to achieve that functionality, which is really cool. Vladislav, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here. And I have another idea. User can put a password on the picture, like private and public. Oh, okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's an interesting idea. We're not gonna do so many complicated things, but what I will do is I want to get the bare bones done, which means getting the actual image uploaded to the cloud. And once that's done, then we'll call that a day. But I'm gonna leave the code in the description. So if you guys want, you guys can, you know, do whatever you want with it. But but that's definitely a good idea though. I like that idea actually a lot. Okay. Why not stop propagation when I click on image? What do you mean? Where are you referring to? All right, anyways, so I think we're quite done with this. Let's go ahead and do one more. So drag and drop, click on that, hit X, bam, awesome. Stop propagation to parent. In which element? Will the code be available on GitHub? Yes, it will. It will be. It will. I'll leave it available. Don't worry. Okay. So I think this pretty much is good enough for the front end. Now all we need to do is we need to basically handle clicking the button. I'm not really too happy with, if I'm being honest with you, I don't really like how everything's just in one file. And I really do want to separate the preview away from image upload container, but I mean it's not really that big of a deal. Because what I essentially could do is I can actually just simply oh, my door just opened. I can essentially just use a context to kind of like, you know, keep track of it. But right now you can see that as nothing. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, okay, hold on. I actually gotta fix this thing real quick. Hold on. Hold on. So the problem here is that when I actually click on the text now, it doesn't even do anything. You can see that. Okay, so yeah, I think what we need to do instead. Yo, what's up, Crollo? How are you? When you hover over it, it shows view preview. That's a good idea too. So right now, another problem that we have with this is that when we, if I click on the text, it will not work. So I think actually a better thing to do is we can actually just check to see if the target has the, let's see. Actually, you know what? I think what would be better is we actually pass the ref to, I think what would be better is if we actually pass the ref to the, instead of passing the ref to the image, let's pass the ref to the let's see. Can I pass a ref here? No. I can't. I don't think I can even pass a ref down as a child. Can you? Can you pass a ref as a prop? Ref forward. Refs will not get passed as a prop, but you can use something called forward ref to forward the ref to the other component. Okay. Yeah, so that's another problem that we have to look out for, because right now, if I click on the text, it will not work. I mean, let me see. Because essentially, when you click on this, it's not equal to this. So, I'm trying to think. Image preview on click. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think how we could make it so that even if I click on the text too, let's see. What if I pass the ref? What if I pass the ref? Let's see. Const image. What if I pass the ref to the image? No, because the image itself is not actually, so the image is not actually in here. So we can't do that. We can put a ref, we can give a ref here, and then, yeah, that'd be a little bit difficult. That's something that I'll have to think a little bit more about later. But we'll worry about that later. We'll worry about that later. All right, let's go into the backend. Let's go into the backend now. We're done with the front end. So what I'm gonna do for the backend, I'm gonna use Nest.js because honestly, I think Nest is just a lot better. It's more superior to Express. Express would be just fine, but honestly, I think this application itself would grow if we were to build on top of it. Like if you were to add more features. So I think you know, I don't want to just treat this as just like a small project, because we can always make this a big project. You know, like you don't want to think of it as a small project. So, I mean, initially when I thought of this idea, I thought of it as a quote unquote small project. But the more I think about it, that there's a lot more things that we can do to make this into an actual bigger project. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. It's 8:46. I have about an hour and a half. So I want to get the backend at least started, because I can actually just continue the stream if we don't finish. But I think we'll finish, so don't worry. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a project in Nest. Stop propagation event before set visible. Okay. Yeah, so that way it prevents it from bubbling up, right? You don't want that to happen for the parent events, right? So that's why we got to stop propagation. Okay, so yeah, we'll set up the Nest.js project, and I'll add it to the workspace so we can have it in the same folder. Okay. Do I want to add some... Let me see. I do want to actually write some test cases for this, but I'm trying to think how I would test this, because this is a lot of crap right over here. We'll write the test cases later. Okay, awesome. We got our image upload API. So now let me go ahead and let me move this here real quick. Let me add folder to workspace, image upload API. Okay. All right, so we got the image upload API. So this is the Nest.js project. So we're using Nest. So this is pretty much going to be a full stack TypeScript project. So we're not going to be using Express. So if you guys are interested in learning Nest, I do have a tutorial on my channel, but I'll try to, you know, kind of like briefly go through it. But essentially, I like using Nest because Nest is just honestly so much better than Express. So we'll just use Nest. Okay. So let me just go ahead and delete a couple things. And I'm just going to structure the project of our Nest app real quick. So let me see. I'll just create the port here. All right, so we'll run on port 3001 or whatever the environment variable is. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the controllers. So, well, first let's create a module. So let's do this. And I think we'll call this let's see. What I want to call it, so this module is going to be responsible for handling images, but I don't want to just call it uploader though. Maybe I'll call it images. Yeah, I'll just call it images. So we're going to create a module, okay? And this is where we're going to have all of our controls and stuff. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder called controllers, and we're going to create a folder called services. And the nice thing about Nest is that it follows the MVC pattern. So with controllers, we're going to have a controller for images. We're going to have an images controller, and that's going to be responsible for handling all of the requests for, you know, like getting the image, uploading the image, etc., etc. So we're gonna go ahead and do image.controller.ts, and we'll create a file called image.controller.spec.ts. Okay, and so we're gonna have, for now we'll have one controller. For services, we'll have an image service. So let's go ahead and create one called images. And let's just call this image.service.ts, image.service.spec.ts. So that's just a spec file for testing. We won't really write any tests because I don't think we'll have time. But I'll just leave that there to implement for later. Now we'll also need one more file. I'll call this image.ts. This is going to be an interface. And what we're going to do is we're going to program down to the interface. And what that means is that instead of actually creating a class and implementing all of our methods, we're going to create an interface, define all of the methods that we need to implement. So that way we can actually program to the interface instead of programming to implementation. Why did you create subfolders for images when you had the same name? So the images itself is the controller. This images folder over here, that's inside source. This is the module itself. So the module itself, images might have other controllers and services that belong to the image module. So we don't know what those might be, but for now we're just calling images. We're just calling this the images module. You can call it whatever you want, but essentially I also have a separate image controller. So that's why I'm creating that image controller inside this controllers folder. So for image service, we're going to have a couple things that we're going to do with the image. We're going to want to obviously upload the image. We're going to want to delete the image. We're going to want to read the image. So that's basically just retrieving it. And we might need to do other things too. So I'm not sure what it is, but we'll also need to install the SDK library. Wait, hold on. I think I may have done something by accident. I may have accidentally installed the SDK. Oh my god, why did I do that? This needs to be installed in the back end, not the front end. Whoops. Why did I that was a whoops. I thought it would be nice if the user wants, they can add spoiler or NSFW warnings to your pictures when the pictures open if there's a warning. That's a nice idea too. You have a lot of nice ideas. Okay. So we have our image service. The interface. Oh wait, I forgot to call this image service. Let's see. NSFW check, sure. All right, so let's go ahead and create the service class. So export class image service. We need this interface. I don't usually call it interface. I usually do image service. But I think actually, let's see. I just feel like it'd be weird calling it image service. So that's why just for this one, we're gonna call it interface. And we just gotta implement all of the functions. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is we're also gonna create we're gonna create another service for S3. So actually, should I call it S3? Let me call it spaces instead, because we're not really using S3, but we are using the S3 API. But I will call it spaces instead. Actually, no. Sorry. I'm gonna change it back to S3. All right, there we go. S3.ts. So export interface S3. S3 service. Can't type today. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is inside here, export class S3 service. We're using spaces, but spaces, DigitalOcean spaces, you can use the Amazon Web Service Software Development Kit to invoke the DigitalOcean Space API. So so just to be clear, we are not using AWS S3. The only thing that we're using that's part of AWS is the Node.js library that allows us to actually call the DigitalOcean API. So I just want to clarify that. But it works the same way because we're using, okay, let me just do this real quick. Let me just finish what I'm doing so I can explain it again. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually move this. I'm actually gonna create a module for this instead. So nestg module. I'm gonna call this storage. Yeah, you know what? I'll just call it storage. Yeah, so the library that you just saw that I just installed, this library, AWS SDK that I just installed, this is a client that allows us to, you can use it for AWS S3 or you can use it for DigitalOcean Spaces. They both work just fine. Okay, so, whoops, sorry. You know what? I'm just going to call this storage. I'm not going to call it S3. My brain is just like, you know, getting super confused on what I want to name my files. And what we'll do is we'll do export interface iStorage service. Okay. And we're going to do export class storage service implements iStorage service. And now we just got to implement the function. Okay. So now the storage service is we abstracted it in its own module, so it's not in the same module as images. Okay. And all we got to do is inside image module, we actually do need to import that module if we want to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this API real quick. Okay. So let's go inside controllers real quick. And we're going to use the controller annotation, and we're going to label this as images, or let's just call it image. Okay. What we'll also do is inside main.ts, we're going to go ahead and do this. Let's do app.setGlobalPrefix. We'll set it to API. So in order to visit our routes, it has to be prefixed with /API. Okay. So in order to visit this image route, we have to do /API/image. Okay. Let me actually open up Postman real quick. Give me a sec. I'm just opening up Postman. All right. Hi, Anson. Do you think for a future tutorial you could do web scraping with proxy from a free proxy list? I don't know. Maybe. Mr. Dev, how are you? Welcome to the stream. You just blinded me in bed with Postman LMAO. Yeah, Postman. I use dark mode for Postman, but it just like shows up with a white screen. Okay, so let's do a simple get. Let's make sure it works. So let's just do get. Let's just say image. And we'll just annotate the HTTP codes to be okay. Now watch this. If I go into Postman, whoops. We are on port 3001. So it's /API/image. Image controller. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I did not import. Well, first of all, I need to go into image module. Okay. And we need to actually import the controllers. So image controller. Okay. And for services, we need to also, hold on, wait, why is services? Is services, oh, I'm sorry, providers. Okay, providers, we're gonna do something a little bit different in just a second. So we have image controller, and now what we're gonna do is inside app module, we just simply, I think that's fine, yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and try this out. There we go. That's how Nest works. That's the beauty of Nest. Okay. Now for providers, we do need to provide the service because we are using it. Because it basically, underneath the hood, Nest.js uses dependency injection. So what that means is that it's going to pretty much auto-wire all of your classes, all of your APIs, all of your modules, and it's going to inject everything. So that way you don't actually need to create multiple instances of it. It's just going to be a singleton. So you can reference it anywhere you want. You just need to inject it into where you need it. So we do need to add that as a provider. And the way we're going to do that is very simple. We're going to create some tokens. And that's how we're going to actually reference our service. So what I'm going to do is let me create a new folder. Let me just call this utils. And I'm just going to create a file called types.ts. And let me do this export const routes. Or I'm sorry, let me do enum routes. Image. And let's just do export enum services. So we have the image service. So service.image. We'll also have the storage service called storage. So what we're going to do is inside providers. So let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and invoke our service. So and let's go inside the controller. So we're going to need to go ahead and get the service. Let's do private read only image service, just like that. Now you're going to see an error. It's saying that image service is a provider. Welcome back, Wise Dev Helper. Image service is a provider. So we need to provide it. So we're going to do that over here. So provide services. So we're going to get that enum that we just created. And each enum is going to be a unique value. And we're going to pass in the use class property. And for that property, it's just going to be the class of image service. So now, let's see, we have the providers. So it seems like it's still giving us that issue. And I think it's because we actually, let's see. I think we might need to list the provider in app, or we need to put this, we need to list this in the exports as well. Okay, no, let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, it might be because actually we're not actually injecting it. Let's try injecting it real quick. There we go. I think that fixes it. So I don't think we actually need to export it. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's go inside image service. And if I go ahead and if I do, well, let's go inside here. And we're going to go ahead and call this .image service .upload. And watch what happens if I go inside Postman. There we go. See? So this is pretty much just Nest.js in a nutshell. It's a lot of different classes. It's a lot different than Express. Like I said, I have a tutorial on my channel if you guys want to learn more about Express. It's definitely worth learning it because I feel like it is so much better than Express in my opinion. Okay, anyways, so what we're going to do is we're just going to have a post request, and this post request is going to have the route of create. So to get to this route, we're going to have to create a post request, visit /API/image/create. And we actually need to install Molter. So Nest.js actually has a tutorial on how to do this with file upload. So we need to install, well, we actually, I think Molter is already part of it already, but we need to install the types for type safety. So we're just going to follow this guide real quick. But what we're going to do is we're going to do async create image. Okay. Ahmed, how are you? I think Express is loosely coupled, whereas this is strong because it falls on PC. Express is nice because it gives you more control, but I feel like opinionated frameworks are just, you know, like, I just don't really like opinionated frameworks because in the end, if you actually want to create scalable code, you really do need to actually follow some kind of structure, right? With Express, I used to, whenever I would build APIs with Express, I would pretty much use the callback functions, and I would never I would never create like my own handler functions and import them in and then use that. And that makes it a lot more harder from testing, you know? So you might as well just use something like Nest.js in my opinion. And I've used Express for a lot of projects. I'm watching your stream from the gym. Nice. Nice. What are you working on today? So we're going to need to use the interceptor, file interceptor. So this is going to basically allow us to actually get the file. And we will need to install Molter. Let me go ahead and do that. Yarn add types Molter. Yep, there we go. Let's add that. And then while that's installing, well, that was pretty fast. Let's go ahead and continue with the documentation. So we just need to use the decorator uploaded file. So this is how we're going to get the actual file. Okay, so this is really relatively easy. Okay, this is ridiculously easy. Okay, and after we do this, we're going to actually need to invoke the S3 API, which is the S3 library that we installed. Okay, so excuse me. So what we're gonna do essentially is we're basically going to do this. We're going to call image service. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this now. We're going to call image service. Upload, and image service is going to call the storage service. So I know it's kind of like, it might seem really dumb to do that, but the whole point of this is to pretty much abstract things away. I mean, essentially what we could do is we could actually just upload the image. We can just invoke the S3 library inside image service, but there's a chance that we might actually need to call, like, you know, some of the functions from storage service. So it's better if we create all the functions in one class and then import them one time wherever we need it. So instead of creating like two different upload functions, we create all the functions inside storage, and then we import it wherever we need it. Okay? So instead of having the actual image service, instead of having the image controller import storage service, because image control doesn't necessarily need the storage service, it needs its own image service, right? We want to try to avoid importing services that don't necessarily need to be required by image controller. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and change up the interface. So upload is going to take in a file. Okay. So we're going to take in that file just like that. And we're going to pass in the file just like that. Okay. So image service is going to take in that file just like that right over here. And we can do whatever we want with it. Okay. For now, all we're going to do is just console log the file. And now image service is going to need to get the storage service. So we're going to have to get that by doing dependency injection. So instead of calling this upload, I'm actually going to call this create, because we're not really uploading anything. We're just creating. Okay. So we got to fix the definitions. Okay. So we're going to use dependency injection to inject the storage service. just like that. And you'll notice how I am type annotating the storage service. I'm type annotating with the interface instead of the actual implementation, instead of the actual class. The reason why we're doing this is because this is the practice of programming down to the interface instead of programming to the implementation. Because what's going to happen is if you program down to the implementation, you might change something with your implementation, and that'll break your whole code. Whereas if you program to the interface, you'll know that the interface is always going to have the same functionalities. It's going to have the same definitions, and you can always actually just swap out the definitions. You can swap out the interfaces without having to actually worry about the implementation itself. So it's actually a good read. I would highly recommend Googling programming to interface versus programming to implementation. It's actually really cool. And that's actually one thing that Nest.js allows you to follow. Okay, so storage service is where we're going to need to actually this is where we're actually going to need to set up all of the uploading stuff. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna do this. Let me actually open up a repository real quick because I actually do need to reference an old piece of code because and I will create I'm gonna create the storage real quick. I do need to reference some code real quick. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Hold on. What did you say? Can you explain when to use async await and when to use promises? Async await is great if you have a lot of promises that you need to call. So you have a lot of asynchronous code and you need to await every single promise. Async await is great. I don't know what you mean by when to use promises though, because you usually use promises when you use async await. So it's kind of like they both come in handy, you know what I mean? All right, give me 1 second. So hold on. I need to figure something out real quick. Give me 1 second. I gotta figure out where I did this thing real quick. Okay, I got it. Okay, so what we're gonna do is inside the storage module, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a provider, and we're gonna basically provide the S3 client. So we're gonna go back to types, services. We're gonna call this S3 client equals S3. Let me see what I called it. Okay. And what we're gonna do is let's just do provide services S3 client, and then we're gonna use the value of new S3. So we're importing S3 from S3 client from the AWS software development kit. And then we need to get the credentials. So we're going to need to get that from DigitalOcean, which I will get that in just a second. Now with that, I'm not going to actually show that to you guys because I don't want you guys using my thing. But I'll show you I'll pretty much show you what we're going to do when we create the thing. So don't worry. I mean, I can always reset it, so it doesn't really matter. So for credentials, we're going to need the access key, and then we're going to need the secret access key. And let me see. I do need to use environment variables for this, so I'll have to get some environment variables. And then what we're going to essentially do now is wherever we want to get this S3 client, we can easily well, we're actually going to only need it inside storage service. So that's really the only place we'll need it. Shashank, how are you? Welcome to the stream. So this is how we're going to get the actual S3 client. So instead of creating the instance of the S3 client, we're creating it in one place and then we're injecting it into the class that we needed. So this is known as dependency injection. So now what I can do is I can do things like this. So watch, I can now reference this.s3 client, and we can actually it's S3, not S3 client, sorry. Okay, so now I can do create, I can do things like put object. I think that's the function call. I'm not entirely sure. I gotta double check real quick. Okay, so we can pretty much call the API from the storage service. Okay, so for now, all I'm gonna do is just console log, so I can show you the flow of how things work. Storage service upload, and we're gonna need to actually take in the file. Okay, so file. Okay, so what we do now is right over, what's going on here? So right over here inside image service, we're going to, so we injected the storage service, good. Okay. And you can see that we already have an error already because we have region missing and we have a bunch of other stuff missing. For the region, I'll do NYC3. And yeah, we're gonna get this error, that's fine. So what we need to do is inside images, the error is that if storage is a provider, is a part of the images module. So we can actually just import the storage module, or module like that. And let's see, because we're using the storage, we just have to do services.storage and then storage service, and that should fix it for us. Okay, and same thing with S3 client too. So we do need to put this over here. Just like that. Okay, great. Okay, so I know there's a lot of configuration. This is why Nest is a little bit annoying sometimes, but hopefully you guys are still with me and hopefully this makes sense. So let's go ahead and reference storage service. We're gonna call upload. We're gonna pass in that file. And let's go in here and let's just console log the file. So nothing's gonna happen right now because the file is gonna be empty, okay? But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how everything is being invoked. So we're gonna call image service.create. So that's gonna call storage service.upload, okay? So let's go inside Postman. Let's go ahead and do a post request. So watch what happens in the logs. You'll see that we have undefined. That's correct because we don't have a file. And we can see that storage service upload. We can see that this is being logged, which means that this is being called correctly. Okay, so now if I were to actually, let me actually do this real quick. Let me go into, my original code. Okay, so inside here, what we're going to do is we're going to need to call the put object function, and this is what's actually going to call the API, call the spaces endpoint and store the file in the spaces. Okay, so for the bucket, we're gonna have to give it a name. So we'll have to actually get that from DigitalOcean. Okay, so let me actually just write down all of the fields that we need first, just in case I forget. I'm actually looking at another I'm looking at like another screen right now. Just so that I don't forget what it is that we're missing. Okay. All right, so let me see what is going on here. There we go. Okay. All right, that should be fine. All right, so you're gonna see that when we try to do this, it's actually gonna give us an error because first of all, it's undefined. Okay, first of all, it's undefined. Second of all, we don't even have a space yet. So let's go ahead and create one. So I'm gonna go to DigitalOcean. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a space. So this is $5 a month. It's pretty affordable, I would say. And all it's responsible for doing is it stores data for you. So you can store literally files, images, you can store videos, you can store literally anything you want, and you can enable the CDN. So let me create one real quick. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're going to click on, so you can actually select the data center region. So these are all of the regions that that DigitalOcean supports currently. So there's San Francisco, there's Amsterdam, there's New York, Singapore, there's Frankfurt. I'm going to do San Francisco because that's closer to me. But you can also do New York too. It doesn't really matter. Let me see. Actually, no, I'll do New York because I've already... Okay, let's do New York. And you can also enable CDN too. Okay, which is really one of the most powerful things. Now you can also do restrict file listing, so only users who connect to the space can use access keys. Using access can list the contents. And then you can also make it so that anyone can list the contents. Okay. Now this setting doesn't have any effect on whether files are visible or not. Okay, so you can also give it a unique name. So let's just call this what do I want to call this? Let's see. Image. You have to give it a unique name, so let's just do image. Let's just call it image uploader. Doesn't really matter. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and create the space. So I'm gonna move it to the other tab just to make sure that nothing sensitive shows. Because last time I did something with Namecheap, it accidentally showed my address. So I'm being very careful. Okay, so let me go ahead and just show you the. Let me just make sure. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you create the space. It looks like this. So you can actually just manually upload files. You can drag and drop it if you want to. And when you upload the files, it will actually show up here. You can also go to settings too and do whatever you want. You can even create folders too. Literally, it's just it manages all your files for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and upload a file. So let's try that. Let's go ahead and let me see. So you're gonna see that right over here. When I click upload files, you're gonna see that you can literally upload any file. You can even upload. It seems like you can upload Ubuntu image files. But I'm gonna upload this file over here. Okay, and you can set it to public or private. So if it's set to public, it's publicly readable. Let's try uploading this file now. Okay. Now, you can always do everything, like you can manage the permission stuff. So if I hover over it, you can see that we have a URL. So if I try to access this, you're going to see that if I try to access this, it's going to say that it's not, like the permission is denied, right? Because it's private. Okay, it's private. So we can't actually see the image. But if I go ahead and if I change the permission to public, and if I try to access the image, it'll take some time, but you can see now I can actually access the image. And if you want to enable the CDN, excuse me, if you want to enable the CDN to load it faster, you can, and you can always purge the cache too. Okay, so now we have our own image uploading system. So now all we need to do is we need to call this API, or not call this API. We need to use AWS S3's SDK to invoke the Spaces API to upload the images for us. Okay, so what we need to do to achieve this is we actually need to get the, let me see. We need to go ahead and get the credentials. Okay, so we need to get the secret and the access key. So let me figure out where I need to go ahead and get that. Okay, there we go. So over here in Spaces, you're going to see this Manage Keys button. So you're going to click on this button. Okay, you're going to click on it. And let me make sure that I don't show anything personal. Okay, great. So when you click on this, you're just going to generate a new key for the Spaces access keys. Okay, so you essentially what you need is you just need the keys. You need the access key, you need the secret access key, and you need the endpoint. For the endpoint is just going to be, if I remember correctly, let me double check for you guys real quick what the endpoint is. Let me just make sure. The endpoint is going to be this. It's going to be the region with the DigitalOceanspaces.com. Okay, So our region is NYC3, and it tells you that right over here. If you go over to let's see, if you go over here, yeah, it tells you the region right over here. Yeah, I mean the region is basically this part over here, this NYC3. Okay, and so that's the domain that we need. So nyc3.digitaloceanspaces.com. That's the endpoint. Now, if you're using Amazon Web Services and if you're using S3, you would obviously change this to an actual S3 endpoint. Okay, and obviously make sure you change the region to. Right now we're in NYC3. So what we need is we need the access key and we need the secret access key. So like I said, you're gonna go to API, you're gonna go to Spaces access key, and you're gonna click on generate new key. I'm not gonna show that to you guys. Okay. So I'm just gonna call this. Let's see. Okay. So when you generate it, it's gonna ask you for a name, and it's just going to ask. It's gonna give you the key and the secret key. Okay. So that's just pretty straightforward. So, and we're going to paste that here. So we're going to paste the access key and we're going to paste the secret key. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that off screen. So that way, I don't, so that I don't leak it. Not that it really matters, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care if you guys use it, but I don't want to show it for obvious reasons. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I have my keys already. So all I'm doing right now off screen is I'm just pasting my keys. Okay, and like I said, if you're using S3 or if you're using DigitalOcean or if you're using Linode, they're gonna give you those keys. Okay, I think Linode you can also use S3 client as well. I'm not sure. Okay, and then you're gonna paste that, and now we're gonna go ahead and start uploading stuff. Okay, so let me just make sure that and like I said, if you accidentally leak your keys, you can always regenerate too, no problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and play around with this and let's see what we can do. So what we're gonna do is, let me go ahead and drag this back here. I have a lot of tabs right now. As you can see, we have so many tabs. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to upload a file to here. Okay, so let's go ahead and first of all, let's go back to here. Okay. So this key over here is going to be the name of the file. Okay. For the bucket is going to be the name of our space. So I named it image uploader. So let's see. Okay. The key is going to be the name of the file. So for this, we're gonna actually need to use a random code. For now, I'm just gonna use file.file name. Okay. All right, now let's try this out. So what we're gonna do is, obviously right now, if I try to do this, it's not gonna work because you're gonna see that we don't actually have a file, obviously, so we have to do this from the front end. I'm not sure if you can actually upload files from Postman. Can you? Postman upload file. Can you actually do that? Let me see. Postman send file. Let's see. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, we can actually do that right over here. Whoops. I don't know why that... Okay, so that just opened up my Postman folder. Alright, so let me go ahead and open up the image. Okay, so it worked. It actually worked. It actually worked. Okay, great. So, hold on. It says region is missing, though. Okay, so it says tool created, but let me actually see if it actually upload the file. Because it says region missing in my logs. me see. Do I need the region here? No. I do have the region. Let me go back to my storage real quick. I have the region, NYC3. Let's try it again. Maybe I didn't save properly. That's very interesting. Why would it say region is missing when I have region? So we know for a fact that it is sending the file, but right now the issue is that when we're trying to call the API, it's saying region is missing, even though region. So it makes me wonder if we did actually in fact. Let me actually check the config logs real quick. I don't know. I wonder if it actually did get the keys and stuff, like the actual API keys, because I did provide it. But why is it saying region? I'm so confused about that right now. Let me try something. Let me go ahead and delete my hold on. Yeah, this is just an issue right now that I'm facing. Let me try deleting the credentials, and let's see what happens if I send it. So here, it's still saying region is missing. So I think maybe we're not injecting the client properly, is my guess. Okay, so we're probably not getting the client correctly, which is what my guess would be. So let me double check something. So that's very interesting. I'm not sure why. Why is it doing that though? That's so weird. We have S3 client. We're injecting it. Let me check something real quick. Give me 1 second. Let me double check something real quick. Okay, so I definitely did provide the correct credentials. Okay, I definitely do have the secret access key, which is good. The region is there, the endpoint is there. Okay, good. I think it might just be because of the way that I am injecting it. Yeah, let me double check something real quick. Still doing that. Interesting. All right. It's very weird. So we have our storage module, but it seems to me that it doesn't want to work for some reason. Flame Quad, Tarek, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you guys. Okay, let's try this. Okay, perfect. All right, it's working. There we go. I fixed it. All right, so I fixed the error. The error was that it seems like I didn't export the S3 client from the storage module. Okay, so there we go. Works perfectly. Okay, let's go back here real quick. Okay, so I'm not sure why. You can see that right over here. It's saying that no value provided for key. So does it not have a file name? So the file name is seems like file name is That's interesting. I don't know why file name would be undefined. Whatever. So let's, okay, let me move, hold on, let me do this real quick. Okay, let me bring the code back. React is very good, but view composition will be a monster. What is view composition? So let's try original name instead of file name. All right, let's try it now. All right, so it seems like no error. Let's see. Let's refresh. Okay, there we go. It worked. You can see that it says just now. It was just now updated. Awesome. So let's try uploading another one. So I'm going to go ahead and upload another file. So let me try uploading, whoops. Let me upload the Lexus photo. So we uploaded that. And if you have a file that conflicts with the file name, it's going to override that file. So you do have to be careful. So this is the Lexus file, okay? If I click on it, you can see that I can see the image, which is great. So it's working. Awesome. Okay, so now we have it working just fine. But the problem here is that we don't want to set the key to be a file name. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use like some kind of like generator. We're gonna use like a number generator or like a hash generator. I think the perfect thing would be using UID, the UID package. So we're gonna install the UID package real quick. So yarn add UID. Okay, and let's just run yarn start. Do we need to install types? So what we're going to do is we're going to generate a unique value for each image that's going to be uploaded. So that way it's going to make it so that we can actually reference that image later. Hey Anton, since you're more experienced than me, do you know if there's a package that can put a GIF on top of a GIF in Node.js? I have no idea. I'm sorry. I don't really do anything with image processing. So I'm not too sure about that. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to import UID, or how do I do this? Let's see. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and generate a UID. So const UID. You know what? Let's just call this a key. And what we're going to do is call that function. We want a random UID though. Hold on. Oh yeah, actually let's use v4 instead. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now that will generate the UID for us. Let's just call it name actually. It's better. Okay. So let's go ahead. Actually, I can just do this instead. Okay, let's do that. And let's go ahead and upload some files. So we're gonna have to do that from the front end now. Okay, so let's go back to the front end. Oh, before we do that, we gotta enable cores because we're calling the API from port 3000. So all we do is we just gotta do app.enable cores origin And we'll just set this to an array for now. And we'll just do localhost port 3000. So that's our domain. And we don't really have any cookies, so we'll we'll omit the with credentials. What's the difference between V4 and V5? Seems like with V5 you need to provide a name. With V4 you don't. I'm not too sure how that works. I'm not sure if V5. I'm not sure if the name is something significant, so I don't want to, like, play around with it too much because I don't really know what that does. So I'm just gonna stick with V4. What do you think of DigitalOcean droplets? I think they're amazing. I actually use DigitalOcean droplets for all of my projects, and I've been using DigitalOcean since 2018 when a friend introduced it to me, and I've absolutely loved it. I think the user interface is very user-friendly compared to Amazon Web Services, and they have a lot of products too to offer, so I think it's amazing. All right, so let's go into image uploader, and what we're gonna do is inside the image upload. So whenever we click on the button, so the upload button, okay, so we're gonna handle the on click. We're gonna create a function called upload image. Okay, so let's just create the function called upload image. And what we're gonna do is we're going to basically send this file to the API. Now I'm gonna go ahead and create a let me create a folder called utils. I usually like creating a file called api.ts. And I'm actually just going to install Axios because I really don't like using the fetch API. I think the fetch API is I just don't like it, the default one. Do I need the types? I think I might. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a function called upload post upload image. Okay, and what's going to happen here is that we're going to send the image from the front end to the back end. So what we need to essentially do is we need to basically return axios.post. We're going to call the URL, so I'm just going to hard code it for now. HTTP localhost port 3001 /API/image/create. For the data, I think we can actually just pass in the file itself. Yep. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set the content type. We got to set the content type to, I think it's content. Let me double check. The content type needs to be set to, let me see, multi-part form. So multi-part/form data. There we go. So all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and simply go ahead and do const response equals 08 post upload image. We're going to pass in the file. Now what we're going to do is this is going to be null. It could be null, so we're actually going to do this. So if there's no file, return. We're actually going to show an error later. Let's wrap this in a try catch. So if any errors happen, we can display like a toast notification. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to try this out. So let's see what happens. So let's go ahead and try this out. Yes, because we're setting an image, we have to use multi-part form data. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back to our application. So let's move this here. So let's try it out now. So let's upload an image. So let's upload this image. Okay, good. So let's go into the console. Let's click on this button. So it's saying that cannot call this. It's giving us an internal server error. So it's saying that boundary is not found. If I remember correctly, I think it's because the file actually was not reached. I think the file didn't reach the server. So we gotta figure that out real quick. So let me quickly debug that. So it seems like the file is not reaching the server. Let me actually double check why. So let's go into our controller. Let's see. Let's see. So we have file here. Let me try this again. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. Let me see real quick. Oh, wait. I remember now. Sorry. I just had to look at some old code. Okay, this is a front end issue. So what we need to do is on the front end, we actually need to do this. So we actually need to send it as form data. So we have to send it as form data. I mean, that's one way that we got to do it. So we got to do const data equals new form data. And then we got to go ahead and do data.append. And then we got to give it the name file. And then pass in the file like that. Just like that. And then we pass in the data. So we're actually not passing in, we're actually just passing in form data now. There we go. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so, all right, yeah, so let's try this out now. You can see that it gives us a good status. So let's go ahead and check our, let's check the spaces. Let's see what happens. So we should be able to see that. Yup, there you go. We have the GUID and we have the image. There we go. We have the image there. Okay, awesome. Now here's the question, right? How do we actually, so obviously there's a couple things that we have to get done. We obviously need to, let's do this. There's a couple things that we have to get done. Let me see how much time I have left. Because I have to leave in about 45 minutes. Let me check real quick. Because I do got to go somewhere. So I got to get there by 11. Okay. So let me go ahead and use the bathroom real quick. Give me a second. All right, I don't even know if I even muted my mic. Anyways, let's see. Let's see. All right. I was rewinding my stream just to make sure like you guys didn't hear like the bathroom noises and stuff because that would have been embarrassing. Anson, we need a update on dashboard series. Maybe. At the moment, I have no plan on. Well, okay. At the moment, I do have a plan on working on a new dashboard series, but that's going to be later. It's going to be later. So basically, essentially, what's happening is that essentially what's going on is that I want to work on one because I definitely feel like it'd be great, but I have a lot of things that I have to plan because I want to make it. I definitely want to make the series a lot better than the first one. That's why. So, anyways, so let's do this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead. We got to take care of a couple things on the front end. So one, we got to make sure that we navigate the user to another page when the file has been updated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some spinners. So let's go back to the front end stuff. So right now we know that our images are being uploaded, and anyone can actually visit this image right now. Okay, anyone can upload. Well, not anyone, but like I can upload stuff. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to handle a couple things, right? We need to make sure that we are doing things on the front end to make it more better. So what I mean by that is obviously disabling the button when it's saving. So for example, when I click on this button, that's actually surprising. It actually sends back a response so quickly. That's actually very interesting. I'd expected it'd take a lot longer, to be honest with you, because it has to wait for a response from the backend. Let me go back to the backend real quick. Let me go into image controller. Let's see. Yeah, so we do need to do this. So let's do a try catch, and we'll just simply let me do this. Oh, I see. So let's just return this. Yeah, because we weren't returning. Oh, I see now. Yeah, we were never awaiting the promise, so that's why it just. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, we'll await that, and then if anything happens, let's do this. So if everything is good, we'll do res.send to 1. Okay, good. All right, let's try this again. There we go. It takes a lot longer. Awesome. Okay, so on the front end, we definitely want to make sure we are disabling the button whenever. Let's go here. So, and I need to figure out a way to actually encapsulate everything because I have so many events right over here, and I want to see if I can actually move everything to its own place. So I'm trying to think what would be the best thing. I mean, right now we're kind of like prop drilling stuff. We're like putting everything in one place, so it's not like a big deal. Let me try to fix up some of the code real quick before I because I do want to upload this code on GitHub. I'm so bad at CSS. Yeah, it takes time to get used to it. I'm not really that great at CSS either. I mean, it's just practice, really. That's really all it is. Is it possible to change the front end and make the button always available? Yeah, you could. But why would you want to make the button available, though? You know what I mean? Like, you would only want to show the button if they have an image there. To break the site and spam. I mean, yeah, I wasn't always good at CSS, like it took me some time to actually get good at CSS. I just think that, you guys just gotta practice. As long as you guys practice, you'll be fine. Oh wait, I did const. I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay, so space. Align items, justify content, flex scroll. Flex scroll. Let's see what else. Justify content, flex scroll, flex direction. Alright, there we go. So I'm just gonna do this. So it's just flex. And we want align items and justify content to be center. So align items, center, justify content, center. Okay, good. Cool. All right, so whenever we click on the image, we're gonna set the loading state to. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a state variable, and this state variable is gonna be responsible for keeping track if we're loading or not. How do you compile the React.js project into the project that can be seen normally? What do you mean, like? Well, that's if you mean like the transpiling, that's taken care of underneath the hood with Webpack. If that's what you mean. Or do you mean like actually be able to see the React app in production? Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Like you want to actually see the React app, not like in dev mode, but in production mode, right? Like the build. So what does the button look like when it's disabled? So right now the button is disabled. Okay. So let's add some styles for the button when it's disabled. So let's go to button right over here. So we're gonna go ahead and say when it's disabled, we're gonna go ahead and change the background color, and we'll also change the text too. I think maybe if we set the opacity, yep, there we go. And let's do color. So the color is originally white, but let's maybe try to go ahead and give it a some opacity as well. There we go. So if it's disabled, it'll look like this. So actually, you know what we could do is we can actually show the button all the time instead. So the button can be shown all the time, but it'll only be enabled. Okay, let's do this. So the button will only be enabled if loading and file is true. Wait, what's going on here? Oh, I see. So this seems like it doesn't want to let file be used. Oh, it's because file can be null. That's why. Okay, hold on. Let me remove null real quick. File or null is not. What? What? Why would it be null though? What the hell? So it seems like it doesn't want to use this as a prop. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks. Let's see. So we cannot do this. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to create a function, I guess. So let's do loading. Okay. See, it's loading. Perfect. Done. Refresh. Okay, so for production mode, you can use like a web server. There's something called HTTP server. Download HTTP server. It's an npm package. npm package that you can use. And yeah, we have our image over here. Yeah, look up HTTP server Node.js, and you can pretty much just serve it with an or you can use Nginx, whatever you want. Okay, great. So the button is disabled, but we want to disable the button if the user has not uploaded a file. So let's do that real quick. So let's go ahead and do this. So const is disabled. So this is just going to be return loading or file. So the button is going to be disabled if we're in the loading state. If there's no file, yeah, perfect, awesome. So now we just pretty much just called is disabled. Okay, so now let's refresh. So the button is disabled because we don't have a file. If I were to put this here, you can see the button is now enabled. Awesome. Okay, now we should also make it so that they can actually get rid of the current image too. So let's say, for example, they don't like this image. We can allow them to. We can make it so that they can actually clear it. I think one thing that we could do is we can probably add like a little. What I would like to do is on this image, I would like to add like an X, so they can just click it out. Let me just see how we can do that, because what we're gonna, okay, let me just double check. So let's go to type definition. So we have this image, we have this overlay, we have the image preview right over here, and what we want to do is we want to add, I think that's possible. Let's try this. So let's try putting a div. Okay, good. All right, sociable tech, take it easy, man. Today's my 19th birthday. All right, happy birthday to you. It's my birthday in 2 weeks. So I hope you're here to wish me happy birthday too. I'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining the stream. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an icon. So let's try giving this a position of relative, and let's add a icon. So let's try the same close icon, but maybe I might do a different one. Let's try IO close circle outline. Duck, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you here. So you see this X over here. So let's give it a bigger size of 20. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this to be a position of absolute. I'm just going to use inline style for now. I'm just going to cheat because I'm kind of lazy and I don't really have much time. Okay, so we want this to be a position of absolute. We want this to be on the top. Right, 0. Maybe I want it to be a little bit more. I want it to be more top. Yeah, right there. That's perfect. And I want it to be on the right a little bit more. Yup, perfect. That's literally what I want. Yup, perfect. Perfect. Let's give it a bigger size. Let's try 30. All right, awesome. So let's move this up just a little bit more. I'm so glad the streams are back. I'm glad you like the stream. Let's move this up a little bit more. Good. All right, so I think this is fine. So what we want to do is we want to add a cursor to this when they click on it. Okay, and so when they click on this, what should happen? So when they click on, oh wait, whoops. So when they click on this, what should happen is we need to actually remove the image. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to pass down two functions. We're going to pass down the set file and we're going to pass down set source. I guess we could just do that set file. Now, I don't really like doing that, but this is really kind of the only way. This is the only thing that we can do at the moment is just pass these down. Otherwise, we can just use a React context to make it more better, but it's fine. So let's do set file. Actually, you know what? No, let me do this. Let me do this. Let me create a function called reset. And we'll just do the set file. Is it just not gonna let me? Okay, there we go. Set source. Yeah, we'll just call it reset instead. And what we'll do is we'll pass in reset. Will be reset. And when we click on this button, just do that. So watch this. There we go. Remixor, GG Anson, glad to see you're still creating content. Hey man, how's it going? I think I recognize your name. So if I click on this icon, let's make this icon a little bit bigger because it looks kind of bad if I'm being honest with you. Let's make it a little bit better. It's not sharp though. I want a sharper. Is there a sharp? IO circle sharp. IO close circle sharp. What does this look like? There we go. I think that looks a little bit better in my opinion. Let's try. What's like a color for close? Let's see. Let's try this hex color. There we go. So when I click on it, it removes the image and it disables the button. Awesome. I don't like how it shows the icon. I don't like that delay. It's because the image takes a while. I gotta find out how to get the image to I gotta find out like what I would like to do is I would like to see the progress of the image. Let me see HTML image progress loading. So it seems like let's see E. What is E? Let me see. So it seems like the image itself has an event called onload. Okay. And we can see this event right over here. So watch this. What's going on? Onload, is that the right one or? Interesting. Am I using the right one? This is the image preview style. Yes, this is the image preview. And this is the overlay that has the image, right? Okay, so is onload not the correct one or is it something else? I think it's onload start. Seems like it doesn't want to do anything. Okay, let's see. Let's try on progress. Or is E just undefined? I see. Let me see. That's interesting. I want to figure out how we can do this so we can like show like a spinner, just to like show the progress of it loading. I think that'd be pretty cool, to be honest with you. So it seems like the way that we're doing it might be the wrong way. Let's see. So it seems like what we need to do is we actually need to get the URL of the image. Because so essentially this source, right? This source that we have, the preview, that's the URL of the image, okay? And I guess we need to actually, I guess the way to actually show the preview is by actually making a request to get that image. And then, I think that's, but we'll save that for another day though. I think honestly this is, we've done a lot, to be honest with you. We've done a lot. So yeah, right now, if I click upload, you'll see that the image will be on the cloud that anyone can actually access. Okay, there we go. You can see just now, right over here. That's the image right there. Perfect. And what we should do is we should probably display like a toast notification once the image is done. And what we want to do is we actually want to navigate the user to the next page, because essentially what we want to do, right, is we want to bring the user to the page of where their image is hosted. Now, how on earth do we do this? So essentially what we want to do is we want to bring them to a page that will actually have the image, not the actual image itself. Like, for example, the page won't look like this. Like, if you look at Imgur as an example, Imgur has like its own web page and it has the image inside there. But when you go ahead and right click it, it'll say something like, like get image URL. That image URL is going to come from the actual CDN server for us. So we're going to navigate the user to the next page. So we're going to need something like React. We're going to need something like React router for that. So we can install that, of course. And what we're going to do essentially, let me actually write this down so I don't forget, because that was important to document something down. So I think what we're going to do is we essentially need to do this. Because how are we going to get the user to get the correct image, right? Because if we navigate them to the next page, how are we going to get them to the next image? Well, there's a couple ways that we can do this. One, when we send the response back, we can send back a response with the unique ID of the image, because the unique ID is going to be this UID. So we can get the unique ID of the image. We can send it back as a response. Okay, we can send it back as a response, and then we can push the user to that route. Or we can also use cookies too. We can use cookies as well to keep track of the image. But I think the first way that I propose is gonna be easier. So to do, install React router DOM. Send the user the image ID as a response. Send to the front end. On the front end, we navigate to a route with the image ID as the parameter. On this page, we display the image to the user. And that'll pretty much conclude the whole project. So right now, like I said, we have a simple project right now. Pretty cool, you know, just wanted to test this out. Lots of code, lots more stuff to do. Let's see, does anyone know what this theme is? What is this theme? I think it's ocean theme. Someone said it's ocean. Anyways, so I gotta go because it's 10:13 and I gotta go get my car serviced. So I'll probably stream maybe later today in the afternoon, or maybe I'll stream tomorrow. We'll see. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys for watching the stream. Thank you guys for joining the stream and checking it out and staying, for those who were chatting along the way. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me, so yeah, thank you guys for checking out the stream. I really appreciate it. The theme I just figured out. The theme is Atom. I didn't know how to check it, but the theme is Atom. It's, if you do Control K and T, the theme is Atom Material Theme. That's a theme. And the icon theme is Material Theme Icons, or Material Icon Themes. There's two of them. I'm not sure which one it is, but just remember that one. Okay, so I appreciate you guys for chatting with me. I really appreciate you guys for watching the stream. If you're brand new to the stream, I appreciate you guys for joining. It's definitely nice being able to interact with my chat while I'm coding and getting ideas from you guys as well. So what I'll likely do tomorrow is I'll probably continue this stream tomorrow or later today, and we'll implement some of the ideas that you guys want. Or we can pretty much take the ideas that you guys have given and we can put that to live, and we'll also deploy the application too, maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to chat with me, if you guys want to get in contact with me, I have a Discord server. You can join the Discord server. The link is in the description. I highly recommend you guys join it. It's a great way to interact with the community. And I will see you guys in my next live stream. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining. And I will see you guys in my next live stream. Peace out.